TGIF, Friday, September 19th, here with Kevin Wesselhoft from Lawn Rescue. Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Kevin Wesselhoft, born and raised Texarkana, fireman, stay local, live out, towards the Redwater, LE area, run a lawn care business.
Run a lawn care business along with being a fireman.
Along with being a
So,
fireman.
hey, multiple hustles. I understand that. We've got multiple hustles ourselves. So, what inspired you to start Lawn Rescue, and how did you come up with the name for it?
Man, so I started it back in high school, and just kind of as a side gig. I was like, well, I want some stuff for my truck, so I'm gonna mow lawns for extra stuff.
Gotta get a leveling kit.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that for a while, and just kind of did the summer, and went back to school, and then kind of faded off, and then probably when I was graduating high school, I got serious on it again, and then hit it hard, got several clients, and then I went off to fire school and kind of it slipped down again. When I graduated all that, went through fire school, became a fireman. Firemen need second jobs. We're off 2 days. We work a day and off 2 days. So I started it back, and it's been in full blown since.
Well, I tell you, whenever you talk about off 2 days can cost a lot of money. So when you're off, you either spend money or you make money.
Yeah, usually I'm spending.
So you have to make that decision wisely. So what sets Lawn Rescue apart from other lawn care businesses here in town?
Well, we're a first responder, owned and operated. I've got a couple that work for me. The trustworthy, our on time, our dependability, our professionalism, and it's going to be always there. We like to give our best to each customer, each line, each job.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are some of the most common mistakes you see with people when they're having somebody mow their yard, or they're trying to do it themselves, or what's some of the common mistakes on that?
Well, it depends. Common mistakes usually is the height of the grass.
I've heard a lot about that.
Yes. A lot of homeowners want it. They don't want to mow as much, so they'll go out there and run the mower completely down to the dirt.
Guilty.
Yeah. Hey, if you like that look, go ahead.
Yeah.
But it'll destroy the grass. There's certain heights for each grass. And just other maintenance. Your landscaping, it's just keeping it, if you got plants, seasonal plants, annual plants, keeping irrigation. It's several factors that play into it.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of leads us into the next question. What services do you offer other than just your basic lawn care?
We do everything but large scale hardscaping. So we do the basic lawn, anything landscaping, small tree removal. We don't mess with the large trees.
That goes into licensing and
let the other guys handle that.
I don't. Some good ones around here.
Exactly. I don't want to do all that. And just like I said, landscaping. I guess into hardscaping we do walkways, stuff like that, but into large structures and stuff like that we don't really mess with. It's just kind of not something I've ever dabbled with, and in guys that work with we don't really mess with that.
Well, there's a difference, as far as landscaping versus lawn care.
There is.
Even on the page, we made it two separate categories. I got guys that, they don't want to be known as lawn care because they do landscaping.
Exactly.
So, it's important for people to understand that just because they're mowing yards doesn't mean they're putting in pergolas.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people just don't have the time to do that with.
Yeah. If you offer, a wide range of services, that hardscaping service, they can run into, several weeks to months project if they're large scales. So that would cut into your other services.
Yeah. So Texarkana, 4 seasons, 1 week, 1 day sometimes.
Yeah.
What would be your biggest tips and tricks for somebody that's trying to maintain a yard in our crazy climate?
Do your research. If you want to do it yourself, do your research on what it's take, what kind of soil you got, what kind of grass the soil samples are free. You can go get them at Lowe's, Home Depot. There's a variety of things you can do on your own to help maintain it and keep it, where it needs to be. If not, there's several good lawn companies that, since we got the contractor page now, are verified, they're trusted. They're not just gonna show up and do something. They shouldn't. So reach out to one of those.
Yeah, I understand. And that, that kind of like roofing, sometimes the lawn care services seems like they're a dime a dozen, but you got to find a good quality one, and that's what this service is providing.
Exactly. So. The market is flooded in the lawn care industry, but like I said, getting a dependable company that's going to show up, and do their job and show up every time and not show up for a day or every week and then flake out for a month. So
Well, that kind of, how do you balance the quality versus the affordability for the community?
well, it's everybody's budget is completely different. So me personally, my company, I sit down with them and go over everything. If they're wanting just a basic mow, trim, and go, we have a set price for that. If you want something, top of the page, luxury, nice, and we have set prices for that. So how I handle it is just sitting down with them and seeing where their budget is, seeing what they want to go with.
Okay. That sounds like the great way to do it.
Yeah.
Can you share a story about a time where lawn rescue really transformed someone's property?
Yeah, of course. So we do a lot with the city for either neglected properties or properties that people that are just either down on the luck, they need to clean up, and just need kind of help getting back on there. So we stay kind of on top of that. We post a lot of what we do on our social medias. Some of that stuff we don't post, just for out of respect for the individual.
Mm-hmm.
But we do kind of stay on top of that, kind of a give back.
Yeah. I understand. I've got customers that they don't want photos of their house, privacy, and all that kind of thing. It makes perfect sense. So, a little bit about the fireman side here.
Yeah.
What does your day-to-day look like that's trying to balance between working at the fire station and being the Liberty Isle volunteer chief and running a business? How do you balance that?
Either my phone's constantly ringing or it's constantly dead. One of the two. But no, it's a balance that I've had to learn over the years to juggle. Because you got people calling daily, especially this time of the year, for lawn care, landscaping, and then you got your fire department issues, you got inspections, you got calls and all this to deal with. So the best way is to combine them and sort them through the day.
I can completely relate to you talking about the phone situation. Those of us who have chosen to make a living on our phones, it can also feel like a lifeline, but at the same time feel like it's just something so, I'm like, oh my gosh, this phone is about to drive me crazy.
100%. Yeah, sometimes when it finally dies, I'm just like,
yeah,
I'll give it a little bit before I charge it back.
Yeah, well, I can remember the days when my phone would go off and I'm like, oh, yeah, now that thing will be off. I'm like, oh, I'll check that later.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it just seems like it's nonstop. So, how has your role as being a fire chief and fire department influenced your role as owning a business?
It's really I started out as community driven. I knew a lot of the community, and it helped me out get started. Get customers like that, and then giving back, to the community as well. We try to do things like I mentioned earlier, and it just kind of all came in and structured together.
Okay, well, kind of like us, I started the Texarkana contractor page back when I was selling paint, and it's evolved so much over time that it just kind of fell into place. So
yeah,
what's something about firefighting that people around here may not know?
We don't just fight fires. We do everything.
Cat in a tree.
Yeah. We get cats out of trees. Believe it or not. We'll come pick up somebody off the floor at 4:00 in the morning that has fell. We'll go to a truck that's leaking gasoline. We'll go. There's just a wide variety. We don't just fight fires. There's medical, hazmat, firefighting.
Yes.
It's just a lot of that plays into it. A lot of the public don't see. They think, firemen just sit there to fight fires and hang out and watch TV.
We're on the obviously we're on one of the main routes for the Summerhill fire station here because they blow down
That's
Kennedy
one of the
Lane
busiest in Texarkana
all the time. It's and I over the 21 years of living here, I've pretty well learned the sound of the siren from the fire truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Without even seeing it coming. So, do you see any overlap between serving your community through fire service or through your business?
Yeah.
Getting customers from one to the other?
Yeah, I have. Some people, being, like I said, first responder owned, I've gained customers from that being, of course, it's going to show that we're dependable and everything. And it's more of how I would see it, of a safety cushion for them, because they know, hey, if this guy comes and messes up or does something, they know where to find me. They know where to find someone like us. So, it's definitely been an overlap. I've seen it.
Well, I would say that, just being the reputation of a fireman has to help in aspects like that. I mean, what do people look up to? Police, firemen,
Yeah.
medics and that sort of thing, first responders. So, I mean, if you can't put your trust in them, who can you put them into?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
what do you love most about living and working in Texarkana?
So a lot of people, I say that 50-50. A lot of people doesn't like Texarkana. A lot of people do. I really enjoy it. It's just, I mean, you're a couple hours from, Dallas, Little Rock, Shreveport, and then you go further into like Oklahoma or whatever. It's just kind of a central hub. And it seems over the years I've noticed it's getting more, local community driven. Our downtown is growing. I love to see that. A lot more stuff is going on downtown. A lot more companies are getting together, especially like you start this page. A lot of more are networking, and it's just bringing everybody together. So it's making Texarkana a better place.
Absolutely. I tell people if all you're looking for is some negative in something, that's all you're going to find.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of people out there that only want to find the negative in Texarkana, and they want to overlook all the positives that happen here. This is a great community.
Yeah.
A lot of good businesses, a lot of good contractors around here.
Oh, definitely.
I've said this, I don't know how many times here recently, collaboration happens at the top, competition happens at the bottom.
100%.
So that is, and I'm sure people will hear me say that for a while because that's something I strongly believe in.
I agree. Yeah.
And, over the years of having Texarkana contractors, I've formed a lot of relationships with a lot of contractors that have helped me really, be successful with this. So, I appreciate that. So, how do you see your small business evolving in the next few years here in town?
So I'm always trying to grow. Just reaching out there, trying to gain more business. And just being that quality, that service that people are looking for, and just communication, being with them, and then hopefully moving that up to grow.
Okay. So what advice would you give to somebody starting out in a small business like lawn care?
Starting out lawn care, communication, being dependable, show up when you're gonna say show up, and if you mess something up, let them know.
Own it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you run over something, cut a bush down you shouldn't, they're going to find it, and then they're going to be mad, and they'll never call you back.
Hey, I accidentally broke your sprinkler head.
Yeah. Just last week. So,
yeah. Well,
it happens.
The dependable thing, that's huge. I couldn't tell you how many times I've gotten complaints from people saying, "Man, I've called so and so 3 times, and they told me they'd show up, and I've still yet to see them come out and give me a quote."
Yeah, the same thing I've experienced is I've called for one, no one answered, or they said they'd be out here and haven't showed up. So I would just say communication is huge. That is the main thing I've always heard through the years is talk with them. Yeah.
So is there a message that you'd like to share with the community about supporting local businesses like yourself and first responders even?
Yeah. So if they're curious about having a trustworthy, dependable, honest contractor, or a Texarkana contractor.
It's all right there.
Exactly.
One-stop shop, TexarkanaContractors.com.
Exactly. You just hit the little buttons, and it'll take you to whatever you're looking for. They're verified. I'm sure they go through that process of y'all's board. And, they're there.
Lana did a great job of building the website and making it nice and easy to navigate. So, and if you have any questions, you can call me. If you want to reach Kevin, why don't you tell them how they can get in touch with you if they want to need some lawn care?
We're on all social medias. You can check us out Facebook. You give me a call, 903-490-1682.
1682. Or find him, TexarkanaContractors.com, on Facebook under Lawn Rescue as well. So, well, Kevin, I appreciate you coming by and stopping by and talking with us today.
Great time.
All right, man. And look forward to doing business in the future.
Yes.
All right.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you.